to Violaland,
where we teach you to play viola without taking any lessons.
Today, I pass the viola on to Bridget, who is our guest lecturer.
Shifting, in short, is the ability to go from first position, where your hand is like this, up to higher positions on the instrument. This allows you to expand the range of the instrument from just to all the way up. And you know you can conceivably play, which is, there are a lot of them. Almost every recognizable or famous viola work has a lot of shifting in it, so I think it's really important for us to discuss it. First thing about shifting that you should know is it's not that scary. It seems really scary because when people start playing the viola, they kind of grab on right here and say, aha, now I've done it, now I don't have to worry about that, and I can just worry about making my fingers be in tune. Relax. An easy way to think about it, and the way that you should think about it probably as a beginner, is to think about it in terms of positions. We'll do an advanced video later where we talk about some flaws in this approach, but just for now, think about it in terms of positions. Each finger is basically a position. So this is first position, because this is where your first finger goes. That would be second position, because it's where your second finger goes. Third position, where your third finger goes, and on and on and on. You don't actually have 8 or 9 fingers, but you could just imagine where they go. When you're actually shifting, most people start with third position. I think it's because it expands the hand at a relatively reasonable amount without making you do anything funky. So that's what we're going to start with today. You go, and then you think, what is the note I'm trying to hit? So we want to hit the G with our first finger, because that's first finger from first position to first finger in third position. In order to get there are 3 basic steps. So you place the finger, release the finger, move the hand up, and then place the finger again. And that's true of pretty much all shifts, unless you're starting in a different position, which doesn't really count as a shift. Every shift you have the finger down, you release the finger, and then you place the finger. Now sometimes you use a different finger for those 2 steps, but that's sort of a more advanced thing. The basic principle is you start with the finger down, release it, move the hand, and then place it again.
I have a question, Bridget. How do you know where you end up?
Good question, Eileen. By the time you've played the instrument for a very long time, you start to just memorize it. But at the early stages, that can be really difficult and very daunting. So what you do is release your finger, then go. Did you hear that? I'll do it again so you can hear it. In order to hear where you're going, before you've memorized where the positions are, you press, release, and then you can listen to your hand go up. So that's the basic principle of shifting. First and third positions are really good ones to start with, and you can start with any finger you want. I just happen to start with the first finger. You could start with the third finger, and then say, okay, what's the note that I want to hear in my head? With third position, what you're doing is you're adding 2 notes to whatever finger it is. So with the first finger, you know that the note that you're going to hear is, and then you move your first finger to where you hear that note. With third finger, you're adding 2 notes, which is, so you move third finger up there. That's how you imagine the note. You think, okay, so what's the first note that I'm going to? What's the next note I'm going to? And you can play it on your own instrument, you can play it on a piano, you can check with a tutor, you can do any number of kinds of things to imagine the note in your head. And then you put the finger, relax the finger, slide it up, and then press it down again. Those are the basic principles of shifting. You can use any finger you want. You can go to whichever position you want, and you just imagine the position in terms of how many fingers up from 1 it is, where 1 is this position. It's a 3-step process always. Play the finger, relax the finger, replace the finger with another finger, or just press it down again.
Hey, Bridget. What are some common mistakes that people do while learning how to shift?
One thing that a lot of people do, especially when they're just learning how to shift from first position to third position, is they collapse their wrist and go until their wrist hits. So they'll go, my wrist is hit, and then you just play the finger, oh, your wrist hit. Collapsing your wrist is really unhealthy for the hand and actually can result in problematic injuries. And also it's just pretty inaccurate. I don't know if you heard when I tried to do it that way, but if you just try and feel where it is, okay, well that time it was accurate. But only because I corrected, which is the second common mistake, and I guess that's a very natural transition. Another common mistake is to correct once you're up there. But but it's better not to. You'd say, oh, why? You're correcting something that's wrong. If you're feeling nervous enough that you have to correct it, it's not going to necessarily work. And especially, it's not going to work when you're stressed out in concert. It's not going to work when you play up to speed. So it's better to get in the habit right when you start of playing the note, moving, hitting the next note, and if it's off, just try it again. Go. That sliding thing is going to get you in trouble over time. So if you do that, if you go and you know you're flat, just try it again until you get it right. The third common mistake that a lot of people do is they tense up their hand a lot, which is, again, very bad because it can lead to injuries. And then they kind of like shove themselves up with their thumb. So they'll leave their thumb where it is, and then they go, and they leave their thumb somewhere back here. And this is related to the wrist bending thing. You can see I can barely actually leave my thumb down there without twisting my wrist. If you do that, first of all, tension in the hand can lead to injury. And second of all, it's going to require a lot of corrections, and it's going to result in a lot of inaccurate shifts. And that's going to be a problem in performance situations. So, better to just keep the hand very relaxed, make sure the thumb moves with the hand. This is only true up to the fourth position. There get to be some funky things after fourth position, but that's for another shifting video. We'll talk about higher positions after. So for first to fourth position, the thumb comes exactly with the fingers, and don't leave it behind. It's surprisingly easy to do, but just make sure that you bring it up. Keep your hand relaxed in good viola position, and just slide it up the neck.
Thank you, Lecturer Bridget. We really appreciate your words of wisdom. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for future videos.
Yay!
Bye-bye.
Bye!